to only one is considered to be like the first one's considered to be great because it's the first one. The second one's considered to be great because it is a great movie. The third one, people are like, whatever.
But I tell you what, those films though were so huge and so big that they were re-released.
But it's three movies, and they were re-released at a time before we got into this DVD age and home entertainment.
But I think that's what just made the impact even more.
Well, Harry Potter. No, we usually about Harry Potter, which makes the impact even more, is that it is successful. It has had this like whole cultural impact, despite the DVD age. And we're talking about like several movies in the series and they've all been held strong. I mean, those movies have not actually lowered in quality to a certain point. They've only gotten better, and then maybe at some point they kind of stayed at a certain level. But yeah, everybody knows Harry Potter, and it's almost a testament to the writing. I mean, some things are quotable because the writing sometimes just isn't that good.
Granted, even though the books are completely, I mean, from what I hear I know more Harry Potter hardcore fans of the books than I do of the movie series. Well, because because you always hear their complaints first about all those films.
Because and
you're like, those films are okay, but they're fucking not the books. You have to read the books.
Anybody's going to say that who's a hardcore fan. You're always going to have somebody who's going to say,
well, I know
Spider-Man's not Spider-Man like in the comics.
But as far as just like the cultural icon,
even in this day and age, though, you got people who are showing up for Harry Potter dressed up like the characters.
Yeah, for the books.
No, for the movies.
No, okay. I guess so.
K.I. did a story when the last Harry Potter movie came out, and people were in line dressed up like Harry Potter.
Right.
Quidditch matches happen with people. I mean,
but I always hear those lines are more insane and more rabid for the books when those books are released. Like their book release parties seem like a bigger deal.
Well, that's because it has its basis in the book. But I mean, the release of the movie is also crazy too.
But then again, maybe it's just a whole new concept that I'm just not aware of, only because of these kids. It is a cultural thing as far as the books are concerned. Like when you say cultural, I'm thinking about just the movie aspect of those films. Like if those movies were released without even knowing about those books, I don't know if they would be as big of an impact maybe later on. But when that first movie came out, I was like, it's cool, but I just don't. I don't really get
those
it. Maybe
Harry Potter movies are classic. They are classic films. They are this generation Star Wars. Kids will probably be quoting them later on down the line. They're coming up. And the other thing is that, like I said, several movies into it, it's still going strong. Yeah. They're going to be having festivals. I guarantee you. In the future,
I know that.
They're going to be having festivals that last for days where people watch all those movies all together. That movie, it is a bona fide classic series.
But that fan base, I definitely think it is a hybrid of the fans of the books and the fans of the movie series, which
I can see that.
I can see which makes it big. But yeah, I mean, just maybe it is.
My argument was that it's one of the best series out there right now. And as far as movies goes, that was my biggest argument. But I do think that
I always thought Lord of the Rings. I mean, as great as those films are, it's very rare that I hear anybody quoting Lord of the Rings or. Maybe it's the fact too.
Lord of the Rings is quoted. I can't quote certain things because I'm not as big a fan as a lot of the people who are hardcore into it. But that one is quoted.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think with Star Wars,
one ring to rule them all. Right. Precious and I mean it.
But as far as like maybe with Star Wars, that kind of
how about you even quoted yourself? You shall not pass. I mean, it is very quotable.
I mean, South Park. Once they quote anything, it's it's a big deal. But as far as like just Star Wars is concerned, like when Star Wars came out, like I said. Everyone and their mothers was quoting that fucking film. Everyone had seen it. And when those action figures came out, those were a huge deal. Where when those action figures came out, every kid owned them. And it got to the point where our generation started buying those fucking figures again as soon as the re-releases came out. I mean, and then the one tragic thing about that series is when the prequels came out, I think it just kind of, once the quality of that series just went down the tubes, people just kind of realized that it was time to let go of their childhood.
Yeah, no, a lot of people did that. They're like, oh, fuck.
And, and they're pulling the shit like in that TV series Space, where you're burning your Star Wars toys at the fucking it's like the end of the Return of the Jedi.
Well, man, I mean, I think like I said, Star Wars is it's a totally different animal. I mean, it's not going to be exactly, but as far as popularity, and I mean, you're not going to have things replicate itself in a different age exactly the same way. Where something like Star Wars had action figures, Harry Potter has his books, and Harry Potter has this like paraphernalia.
I think Harry Potter has kind of the same fan base as I think Star Trek, honestly. As far as there are people who are dedicated to everything about that, they're very into it. Where Star Wars fan is a casual fan, you don't have to. You don't have to buy into that. That's an interesting point. Yeah, I mean, I could see them as like the new Star Trek fans more than the. That's
an interesting point, Cole. I can see that too. Yeah. I would like to hear what the people have to say. Then, I mean,
I'm sure we'll get plenty of quotes.
Oh yeah, no, and that's a very good point. I mean, I'm not enough of a Harry Potter fan to know that, but and I'm not going to sit up here and argue with you just to be right.
No, I don't want to argue.
No, I'm not arguing. I'm just saying you make a good point. I'm not going to sit up here and just be like, no. It's like you actually brought up a good point. Like it could be compared to Star Trek fans. I still think like the impact is a little bit higher than that right now.
And I know it's very out there and it's very alive. I mean, part of me actually, I mean, I wish I could jump on that bandwagon and just be honest about being really into the whole fan lore of the whole thing, because it is exciting. The one thing, I mean, I've talked to more people that have gotten me more pumped in the last couple of years about Harry Potter just because they're so excited about it. And I actually start to pay attention to some of those characters in their books. And I find things in that book that are interesting to me, and it gives me something to latch onto, because it is like a fun kind of, it's fun to be a part of something that's a big phenomenon like that. Because you don't ever want to be, I mean, for a while I was like, fuck that Harry Potter. I don't care about wizards and shit. But you realize what the joy and the people who are really into it are very enthusiastic, and that enthusiasm wins me over when somebody can tell me why they love it, and I latch on to something about.
Well, the only reason why I would say Harry Potter is bigger than Star Trek is because Star Trek just didn't seem as mainstream. Star Trek seemed, maybe with certain movies it is, but there was a very hardcore nerdy base for Star Trek.
Right.
I know people who are just everyday people who read Harry Potter. Right. That's why Harry Potter is so big, because you have just your everyday person who's reading that literature, and
which you can make the argument as far as if the literature was still there, it would have its fan base. But until those movies popped up, it wasn't as big. Like if those movies didn't happen, I don't think the fan base would be as huge. I think the movies actually did help that fan base grow.
Oh yeah,
because it piqued people's interest in the property.
Well, a movie is more accessible than a book.
It
of
just
course,
snowballed into what it is now.
Even before the movies came out, I had people telling me who I would not. I'm not going to get I don't get as many people in the Star Trek saying, "Hey, you should check out this episode." I got people who were just telling me, "Hey, man, those Harry Potter books are good."
Right.
And those are people who I never expected.
Fucking Cyrus. I mean,
yeah, I mean,
hang out with Cyrus, the bar that he used to work at. I remember one time he just came in to hang out, and he brought his whole fucking Harry Potter book collection. He just sat it down on the table, and I was like, "Jesus Christ, dude, what's the deal? Why you bringing all your books to this bar?" He was very enthusiastic.
Come on.
As far as telling me why he was into it, and I listened to him. I was like, I'm not really into wizards and shit like that, but that sounds kind of interesting. All right, and I would never have known at that point. I would never have known it would become the phenomenon it is today. And I kind of envy him because he was there for the beginning of it, and it's really cool when there's something you're into. It grows to a point where everyone falls in love with it. But then again, that could also be a bad thing.
Well, see, that's what I'm thinking.
Like Metallica for me.
Well, like I said, that's what I'm saying. Like Harry Potter is something that everyone has fallen in love with. I mean, even you grocery store shopping people. I mean, and Cyrus will read anything with a fucking dragon elf in it. Anyway, let's go.
Anyway, don't get me started on the Twilight books.
I'm not going to even. No, not going to even. He says, this is from Johnny. Johnny says, I heard a great story about a man who loved Jaws so much he got hypnotized so that the next time he saw Jaws, it was like the first time he had seen it in his mind. So it was removed from his memory.
What the
Now,
fuck?
I have told you a nice story.
Oh my God.
That's a story?
Who is this guy? Who's this guy telling the story?
Nah,
This guy's starting to
that's
trip
a-
me out. This is Rod Serling.
That's the quickest story in the world. I know Rod Serling from the Twilight Zone.
Yeah, I was like, what? Oh,
A man saw Jaws for the first time that he became hypnotized to see it for the first time in his mind.
I was like, oh shit.
He had just entered the Jaws zone. But no, could you imagine like
fuck?
hey Dad, tell me a story.
Yeah.
There was a guy who wanted to watch Jaws for the first time in his mind. The end. Now I have just told you a nice story. I like the way he said, I just told you a nice story.
Yeah.
I'm glad it was a nice story because it wasn't interesting. The question is, what film would you have removed from your memory so you could experience seeing it again for the first time? That's kind of an interesting.
No, that's cool.
Yeah, no, it is. That's a good question, man. Mine would be Crank. Thank you guys and keep up the good work. Long live Spill. He says. That's an interesting creative question right there.
That is
Johnny.
that's a good question.
Yeah, that is.
A little creepy, but good.
Yeah, one movie that I would want to see for the first time again, have it wiped from my mind. This is a cliche answer for me, but I'm going back to movies that I've seen.
Yeah.
That I remember seeing it, and it was like, wow. I'll name two movies for you. I'll name three movies for you. Pulp Fiction, City of God, Training Day, Pinocchio.
Damn, it's more than two.
Okay. I'm stupid. I can't do that.
Every movie I've ever seen.
Beauty and the Beast. Okay, we'll leave it at that.
Yeah. I'll only do two.
Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Pee-wee's Big Adventure. I'll add that to my list.
That's mine too.
That's
I
a
love
good
that.
one.
Yeah.
Evil Dead 2.
That's a good one.
Empire Strikes Back. And
The Matrix.
eh.
The Matrix blew me away when I first. Oh, you didn't like The Matrix when you first saw it. I remember that.
I thought it was okay. Only because I was aware of all the influences that it got its ideas from. So, but that's me. I know. I appreciated it the more the later down the road, the more I watched it, until those fucking stupid sequels came out. Unbreakable.
Unbreakable's a good one.
I had a great time watching that film only because I had no fucking clue what that movie was about, and yeah, you heard me talk about it before. When I realized it was almost like a superhero origin film, I was like, wow, that was fucking cool. I even laughed because it pissed off an old lady who was there who thought she'd get to visit more ghosts again. So, she's like, God damn it, what the hell was that all
Sixth
about?
Sense would be another one for me. That one blew me away
You know
when
what?
I saw it.
Yes, Sixth Sense. Only because some fucking prick fucking working the goddamn fucking popcorn machine, that fucking piece of shit. He should have been fucking scrubbing toilets instead of outside talking about the goddamn ending of the fucking movie. That shithead. If I was working at that theater, I would have kicked his fucking ass out of the goddamn theater.
Oh, Leon ruined. He was on.
God damn it, Leon!
Leon was
him
in a
and that
review.
whole goddamn Leog ruined half the fucking movies out.
No, a long time ago. Because I was gonna say one for me would be Fight Club.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Leon ruined that?
He ruined that for me. He ruined that for somebody else.
Oh,
but that one was.
I would have had to punch him in the fucking
we did a
face
review
for
where he was Leon, and he doesn't realize this.
No,
I don't know what he's. Did you see him?
He's one of those guys like, you're about to tell me the ending, Leon. Please don't tell me. Well, let me just tell you this one part. I have a friend like him and another buddy of mine who they always pull that shit where you're like, you're about to tell me the end. I know where you're going because you've done it before. He's like, no. I'm going to tell you a part that it doesn't mean anything. He dies at the end. You motherfucker.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, Leon goes into a trance.
He fucking
and he does it. How many movies have you seen where he like just gave away the end because he was just
retarded.
He was talking and he did not stop. Like he kept going and kept going and he almost got out of control.
It's like he has to breathe and you're like, no, please don't stop.
And my friend Adam is still pissed at him to this day. He's like, you fucking ruined the ending of the movie Fight Club. That is a twist. And you said it to all these people on this show. And he didn't even know. And Leon, we tell him this all the time. It's like, man, you've got to stop ruining the end of the movie.
He's like, nah.
What am I doing? He gets offended. He's like,
that movie's been out for a week. If they didn't see it already, then fuck them.
What? No, the movie, like, our movie's been out for 24 hours. You know, like, fuck it. And he's like, you
it just
tell
came
him,
out today. Hey, if they didn't see it now, then they don't deserve to see it. All right, fuck them.
it's like you got to grab him. You know, he's like,
Yeah,
he's like,
shut
and then what happens?
up.
And then at this point, that's when the character is revealed to be like,
I love Leon to fucking death, but there's times I'm like, all right, that's cool. I'm gonna watch it. No, but I'm like, no, that's cool. I'm gonna watch it.
You gotta stop.
No, that's cool. I'm gonna watch it. I'm like,
You gotta bunk him across the
and I just close. Yeah, I just fucking shut off my goddamn hearing.
Yeah, you got
him
got
and another buddy of mine who fucking it's like he's winning a prize every time he tells you the ending of something that you want to see. I'm like, dude, you don't
Christ.
you're not gonna get laid after you tell me the fucking ending of this fucking movie. Stop, please, just stop.
Yeah, you gotta
it's not a big deal. They tell you in the first 5 minutes of the film, and you're like, no, they
Oh
don't.
yeah, no. He's
No,
like
they
some people
don't.
just don't want to know. It's like I told him, I said, man, stop. All right, just stop. You got to have a tranquilizer gun ready for Leon
Shut
and
the
people like
fuck
that.
up.
Yeah, exactly.